to another Archeryshack Shop Talk. I'm Jeremy.
I'm TJ.
And this podcast marks a half a year that we've been doing them. This is week 26. Hold your applause. Hold your applause.
Has it been that long?
It has. It don't seem like it.
No, it don't.
It seems like yesterday we were like, let's just try this out and see if anybody will listen. And now we've got a small audience. So thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
Very cool stuff. Very cool. I couldn't believe when I seen it was week 26 last week. I was like, man, this is crazy.
It is.
So we're doing the giveaway we talked about on the last podcast, and I'll reiterate that stuff. And what it is, you have to get on podcast 25, which was last week, and I told everybody to comment a number between 1 and 150 for a free set of bowstrings, any color, any bow, anything. But you got to get on last week's, not on this one. Week 25, you can only comment one time and look at the number you post, because if somebody's already posted it, whoever posted it first is who's going to win it. So make sure you don't post a number somebody else has posted. And my phone's been going off all week of numbers dinging in, but I think we're still good to stick with 150. We don't have 150 people, so there's still plenty of numbers out there.
Yep.
So this podcast, you'll be hearing this, it comes out on Wednesday, and then on Friday, should be the 21st at 6 p.m., we're going to pop up on the old Facebook. I mean, not on Facebook, on YouTube. And we're going to put everybody's number in random.org, which is a random generator on the internet. Let it draw somebody, and then we'll have a list of who they are, and then we'll tell you who won. So good luck to everybody.
Yep. Good luck.
Make sure you go back to that last week's podcast 25 and comment a number, and it should be pretty neat. So thank y'all for entering that. I didn't realize, I think when it came out Wednesday, was all of a sudden within just a few hours the phone was going crazy, and I was like, what are these people commenting? And then it hit me. I was like, oh yeah, numbers. So that'll be cool. That will be cool.
What you think about this weird weather we've been having lately?
Man, we've talked about it a little bit on these podcasts, but as we did last week's podcast, it was snowing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think we got up like hot again and then cold again. Like last night got back down in the 20s, but before that it was like raining in 60s. I don't know what to think. They're talking about snow again this coming week. I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't know. I'm glad. Well, we were planning to go shoot last weekend, but Saturday it snowed all day, and then it had already rained like the entire week, and we were like, that's going to be a mud hole. And it just snowed, and we had some child care problems, both of us, so
yeah.
we were just kind of like, we could go, but this might be a week that we sit it out, and we did. So
And it's weird because I don't think this has ever happened, but my wife and your wife are on the exact same weekend schedule.
that's good.
So the way I can keep up with it now is if I know my wife's working, I'm like, okay, well, we got to call a babysitter.
Yep.
And that's usually Nana.
Mm-hmm.
Nana.
That's the same way with me. But yeah.
But our kids, mine is 4.
Mine's 2.5.
2.5. So it ain't going to be much longer. And we're going to be taking them with us.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, nope, Nana wants a free weekend. You just have to go.
Mm-hmm.
You just going to have to take them. So
Get in the wagon, little girl. Dad, I want an ice cream. Shut up. No, I'm kidding.
mine loves to ride in the wagon, so I can see that happening here pretty soon, which I'll be happy because I mean, a 4-year-old, he just loves being outside and with his daddy and everything. Yeah. So, but, right now, think 4 on a archery or on a tournament trail or a course might be a little much because I'm sure he would lose interest quick.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say about 8 or 10 targets in, definitely be like, I'm ready to whatever. But we got a featured product this week, and it is the Trophy Ridge Hotwire bow sight.
Yep.
Tell them about it, T-Bob.
This sight, it's a 3-pin sight. I'm going to get it in my hand where I can look at it.
I'll do a close-up of some sort and put it on so you can see it while we're talking about it.
It's technically a hybrid sight. So you have 2 fixed pins, and your third pin or your bottom pin is a actual single pin movable. So for people who are skeptical about a single pin and, well, I don't have time to reach up and turn my dial for one coming in close. And this gives you the best of both worlds, because you could set that thing up on a 20 and 30 yard and have 2 fixed pins. And then for your longer, if you're out in the yard practicing, you could actually shoot longer distances with moving the single pin. They're not a upright pin. They come in from the side just like a standard. Can't see it because of my hand, but it comes in from the side just like any standard, multi-pin hunting sight. I know Trophy Ridge makes one that's vertical, but super duper tough sight. It's got a built-in tool.
That's like my favorite part. That's the neatest thing. I remember when the rep brought it in and pulled this maneuver TJ's doing, and this little tool pops off, and then you can use it to adjust the sight. I was like,
little tool. We'll do a little bit closer up, but you have 2 screws right here that move just the top 2 pins, which, on a multi-pin sight, or any sight rather, you move the whole housing up, down, left, and right for your 20 yard.
And then that moves like a little worm gear.
And this little tool, it just fits in here. So whichever way your 30 yard needs to go, up or down, you just turn it left or right, get it dialed in. And
my thing would be I would lose the tool, but it screws back in. I mean, it's not like it's easy to lose, but I would drop it out in the middle of Alaska.
Yeah.
And then be like, oh. Which I guess then you just convert to an Allen wrench or something. But
yeah. But nope, it's
got a light built in it. It's about $140 for a sight that you could use as a fixed and a movable bottom pin. I don't think you can go wrong. It looks well built. It's all metal.
All metal.
I mean, there is a plastic fiber optic guard on the front, but that's not part of the main. It's just to hold the fiber optic. But
only disadvantage is I would see is you can't run. I know a lot of people are starting to run lenses in their hunting sight.
Yeah.
So that but for $140 to get a pretty much a single pin, but still have 2 fixed pins.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't go wrong with that. And it's not real heavy.
No, it's not bad.
And it's got a bunch of adjustments on the sight rail, or
front or back.
Front or back. Your standard quiver mount back here. So overall, a well-built sight, and plus, that third pin being able to go up or down, and it does include sight tapes and some clear tapes to if you don't want to try to match up a sight tape, you can just make your own marks at 40, 50, and 60, or however far you want to go.
It's got a second axis adjustment here. I don't see a third, but that's still a lot more than most people do. Speaking of axis, is it axes or axi?
I always just said axes.
Axes. We are going to do some kind of, here's our kind of master plan. We hit 1,000 subscribers. Thank y'all again. We announced it on the last thing.
Yeah, thank y'all.
We're waiting on YouTube to do whatever they do behind the scenes so that we can go live, which I know it'll probably take a few days or a week or two or whatever. That's fine. We're going to probably keep the our regular video that comes out on Sunday. It usually comes out Sunday evening, 9 o'clock. It does good at that time. We'll probably move the podcast to Tuesday morning from Wednesday morning, and then we're going to do like a tech talk on Thursday night around 6:30. And on one of those first tech talks, we're going to talk about second and third axis and how to set it and actually set it on camera and that type of thing. So we just figured that'd be an easy way, a good night. Thursday night, the week, like Friday and Saturday night, most people are out doing stuff, and it's not a big night of views. The rest of the week's kind of fair game. And then, but Thursday night, we can talk about whatever. We can tune bows, we can do third axis, we can fletch arrows, strings, whatever. It'll just be probably a 30-minute little show, and we can just kind of take some of the stuff people want to see and do it live on camera on YouTube. And then after, if you can't watch it live, then it'll, of course, just save it on YouTube and you can watch it later. But we just wanted to play with this live thing as soon as it'll let us do it on a mobile phone and all that. So it'll be neat. And we can move around some instead of being stuck at a computer. So
yep.
that is the plan. It'll happen in the next few weeks. From what I'm reading, because I thought as soon as we hit 1,000, we'll be able to go live, and I was gonna just go live and be like, "Hey, thank y'all," but it still won't let me do it, even though we're almost at 1,100 now. It said it takes the algorithm and the servers or whatever at YouTube some time. I researched it a while ago to kind of say, all right, they've hit it, they've maintained it for a week or two, release it. And it's crazy that they did that, because if I look back, I've already done 2 or 3 live videos before they had that requirement. We did an arrow giveaway in like 2016 or 17, and I went live on YouTube, and I did some other announcement on there, and there was no requirement, so I don't know why they suddenly did that. I'm just glad we can do it again.
Yeah,
it'll be neat, but
well,
that'll give us 3 videos a week.
Yeah.
And the Sunday video floats around. I'm sure y'all have seen. Sometimes if we go shoot, I put like a shooting video together. Sometimes it's a bow tune, restring, paper tune, walk back tune. It's that sort of stuff. So the Sunday video, sometimes it's a new bow that came in we want to talk about. It just floats around to different stuff. But that'll be cool to have another video night a week. And we'll try to, even though it'll be live, we'll try to have the audio decent.
Yeah.
And do everything we can to keep it, sounding good and looking good. So good times.
Good times, and I ain't gonna say stressful times, but it is kind of crazy that we can't go live yet.
Yeah.
That's because we had already talked about, doing the tech talks, like tech tips or tech talk. Probably go with tech tips instead of tech talk, because you get confused with TikTok.
I like TikTok.
I do too. But
at first I was like, this is stupid. And then one of y'all kept sending me something, and I downloaded the app. I'm like, good Lord, there's all kind of stuff on here.
Oh, yeah.
Redneck stuff, and I found bow stuff. I've posted a few things on there from the shop, and people's actually watched it. So I was like, I guess people are on there.
But
that'll be fun. Thursday night. We'll wait, like I say, about 6:30, because we usually close at 6. We need to get everybody out of here, make sure it's quiet. We don't want a bunch of stuff happening to where you can't hardly hear it, like some of our early podcast videos were, and everybody's like, we can't hear because all the crap in the background. We finally kind of figured that out. Or at least it's way better than when we started, and it's only been 6 months. So
yeah,
we'll keep on keeping on with that.
And then we're still going to, most of y'all seen our ATA podcast.
Yeah, we got some plans.
We got some plans coming up for some stuff like that.
Probably like we're going to the R100. We'll do some big thing, maybe another one of those in the car things going, and while we're there, and I'll get some good footage while we're there.
The big one will be the one in May, the
Yeah.
TAC. So y'all be on the lookout for that in May.
That'll be fun.
You ready to talk questions?
I reckon. Hit the old buzzer.
Bing!
Oh, yeah.
All right. First question comes in from 864 area code, local guy. What's the best broadhead for a recurve, and what poundage should I shoot? I'm no recurve expert. I fool around with one, so
that's like your cousin. No, I'm kidding. You definitely want like a solid. You don't want to shoot no mechanical out of a recurve.
No.
So some kind of a solid, stout. I would shoot a 2-blade, although that's not mandatory.
No.
Most recurve people I see are shooting some kind of 2-blade, solid, about a 125 grain, something. Maybe 100 grain. Now I see more of that now than I have before, but back in the day it was like you use the wiki stuff and all that. Now there's so many. There's those DRTs, the ones we just got in, the sick broadheads. It's like the big 2-blade, super thick 40 thousandths blades and all this.
It's actually a 4-blade.
So yeah, that's right. You can something like that's what I'd go for. Solid blade, no craziness, and then the main thing is trying to get it to fly good. And then he said something about weight. We always had that discussion. I'd really like to stick to about 45 plus pounds if I was hunting, and I'd still keep it at around 20 yards. I know people that shot them with less poundage, but they're excellent shots, and they were at like 15 yards. So you're really having to get your hunting skills out if you're trying to get them at 10, 15 yards.
Oh, yeah.
So 45 to and up. But, I mean, unless you're really shooting a lot, if you get over 55, or even if you get a 55 pound, that joker's stout.
It is.
I mean, it is stout. So, solid broadhead, probably a 2-blade. Something's what you're going to see most people shooting. That's my advice.
I agree 100%. I was going to say 45 pounds and no mechanical broadhead.
Yeah.
You just don't have the
there's not enough energy to open it.
Yeah.
And when it does open, it's going to kill all your everything.
Yeah. So our next question comes in from Paul on Instagram.
What's up, Paul?
Any downsides to getting a Genesis bow for my kid's first bow?
That's a good one. Not really.
Nope.
There's there's actually a couple of Genesis bows now, and I'm really not up to speed because I mainly just deal with the standard regular Genesis. But there's the Genesis Mini, and then there's the Genesis X.
I thought they had a Pro in there.
And the Pro. I forgot about the Pro. The Pro's got a limb stop on it.
Yeah.
And all it is, and I like that because the problem with a Genesis bow is kids, it's like a recurve. You can pull it from 0 to 30 inches and there's no let off. But kids want to pull it back past their ear and take their ear off type thing. So you have to really train them, stop at the corner of your mouth. Stop. And that's like every time we have kids out here and I'm trying to coach them or lessons or whatever you want to call it, that's always the problem. They want to snatch that joker
as far back as they can get it.
So the Pro has a limb stop, and you can just set that to where it stops. Before the Pro came out, when the Genesis originally came out, what I was doing was figuring out their draw length, putting a mark. So it's a single cam type setup. If you're not familiar with the Genesis, I was putting a mark on the cables because it goes through a cable slide, putting a little bit of serving and like 2 or 3 knocks on that serving, and then as the technically the string and then the cable went up and down, it would stop and it would catch on that cable slide and it couldn't go any further, and that was the stop. Yeah. And it works fine. It's just kind of rigged,
Yeah.
So other than that, them being able to pull it slap past their ear, no problems. I think it's what they're using in the school for these National Archery School programs. I think it's a good starter bow. It's sort of like a recurve, but it's easy draw.
Yep.
The regular Genesis is 20 pounds, goes down to around 10, so anybody can shoot it. And you can get out in the yard with them if they'll let you shoot it. And, Daddy can shoot it, and kid can shoot it, and Mama can shoot it, and everybody can shoot it, and overall a good bow. So I don't think there's much downside. Now, if you absolutely want them to have let off, I'd say, go something else. But it's, that if you get a bow with let off, it needs to be one that can really grow with them. And there's a ton of those bows out now from Bear, from PSC, from everybody.
Yeah.
But I always ask people kind of like, what's the end goal? Are you wanting them to are they doing it in school for one? Because if they are, then we probably need to go the Genesis route.
Yep.
Otherwise, it might screw them up. If they don't care about that and they may want to get into hunting, we need to go regular compound, but we need one that can grow with them, that's super adjustable, and then we get into how much money you want to spend. But there's a lot of them at $300 to $400 now that are great. But anyway, all that. And then the mini Genesis, I forget, it goes down to how many pounds?
Is it 5?
Maybe it's 5. I can't remember
without looking,
it, but it's even less. But and you can get them in all those colors, pink, yellow, black, camo, blue, red. I mean, just all kind of stuff. So
I mean, you can get just a bare bow, or you can get a kit. It comes with 3 airs, a little hip quiver, and a target.
Yep.
And I think they come with the finger.
Yeah, like a finger tab.
So no, Genesis, not a bad beginner for first bow.
And it's easy to, like, if they really don't know if they're going to keep shooting, it's usually easy to sell a Genesis, and you only got like $200. It's according to how much stuff you buy with it. $250 tied up in it. So if you decide to get rid of it, there's always kids in the National Archery School program that you can sell it to. So it's not a big deal, and you hadn't got like $400, $500, $600 or more tied up in it. So if they're not worried about hunting, Genesis is pretty much the way to go. Genesis is also a good bow fishing bow. So
it is.
If they don't like it and you want to bow fish with it, you can't get too heavy of an arrow going, but I've seen a lot of people use them. It'd be nice to have a little more poundage than 20, but
What does the Pro go to? I think it's a little more than 20, ain't it?
I think it's 25, but they don't allow it in the school.
Yep.
Because of the draw stop, because it give them an unfair advantage. So.
Yep.
But good bow.
Yep.
Good bow. I don't think you'd have any trouble.
Our next question comes from John on Instagram.
What's up, John?
Are shoots like the R100 and TAC known yardage?
Affirmative.
Yep.
The R100 used to not be known yardage, and I think the first year we shot it when it came to Georgia in 2016, 17, somewhere in there. I want to say 16.
I always thought it was known yardage from the get-go because it's technically a fun shoot.
When Rodney shot it in Greenwood, and I read about it online before we went, and I was kind of like, oh, Lord, because some of them shots are longer.
Man, yeah.
Rodney said it was unknown.
Okay.
And they let everybody know, no rangefinder. And I was like, And then I guess so many people, I got my crock hung on this thing. All right, I got it. So many people were not happy with that they switched it. And not only is it known, but they got the dang yardage at the stake.
Yeah.
So now TAC don't do that.
No.
Because TAC has just got a cone out, and they say, we don't care where you shoot from. Here's where you can shoot from, or if you're not comfortable, walk on up.
Yeah. They just stress, as long as it's safe.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, what was it? We didn't go last year, but 2 years ago we went to the R100, and we didn't know it, but they had started the unknown back on it.
Yeah.
And so, we shot known, and we had a guy, and he's like, "Are y'all shooting known or unknown?" We're like, "Known." Got a rangefinder in my hand. He's like, "Well, don't tell the yardage. I'm shooting it unknown." And I was kind of like, "You shooting unknown on a fun shoot?" But he said that he shot ASA and stuff, so he was practicing, which was a good thing because them was some long shots.
It'd be like the giraffe and all the elephant and all the big targets. I'd have to. There's no way I could judge yardage because I'm used to judging like deer and pigs and all that. I'd be like, it would probably look like it's 40 yards and it might be 65 yards.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're known, so that's probably good.
Yeah. And with the R100, you keep score, and the TAC you can keep score, but there's no like trophy at the end of it. It's just
the total archery. If you're local to us, there's one coming to Belvedere, Tennessee. I think it's a 5 or 6 hour ride for us.
Yep.
It's just about an hour away, maybe a little more. Is it from Nashville? We're going, like, if you shoot 2 days, it's like $85, and it's out in the middle of nowhere on the side of a mountain. What's the dates?
May 15th through the 17th.
So definitely go scope it out. They're looking at other sites to move it to for the southeast. We thought they were going to move it this year, but they changed their mind at the last minute. But if you're around us, you should check it out. It's worth going to shoot. It's some wild, fun, you'll shoot plenty of shots 20, 30, 40, but then you also shoot plenty of shots that are like 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. We shot a 115-yard shot, neat stuff.
I've got it wrote down here. The R100 over in Homer, Georgia is the March 6th through the 8th.
It's a little bit cheaper, I think.
It is.
And they got if you shoot the African course, there's a lot of crazy targets. There's like giraffes and freaking rhinos and
dinosaurs.
Elephants. Yeah, dinosaurs and all this. So that's what most people go to see.
Mm-hmm.
But the North American side's cool too, and it's 100 targets. You shoot 50-50, or you break it up however you want to.
Yeah.
The total archery is what, 20 or 25?
25
on each course, and they set up 4 courses.
Yep.
And it's just a long story, but there's it's not the locals course this year.
It is the Leopold course.
It's like 40 yards and in, smaller targets. Sitka is like the one on the side of the mountain and shooting through waterfalls, and we about died.
Yeah.
Prime was, for the most part, not that bad. That's where we shot our 115-yard shot.
I think the biggest thing we had that hill. We had 2 hills, and it was like on the last couple targets because we had to walk straight up the hill to get back to the road. But it wasn't that bad.
And then there's what's the other one?
You got the Yeti course this year that took the place of Mountain Ops.
Yeah, Yeti's not quite as bad as Sitka, but it's still longer
They said,
hilly shots.
yeah, they said a lot of shot angles.
Yeah.
Extreme shot angles. So
Check it out if it comes near you. It started sort of Midwest, West, and then they snuck over here. We didn't go the first year.
I think we was at ASA that first year.
That's right. And then we went last year, and then we're going to go back. It's a fun time. They set up they have a concert on like Saturday night. They set up a little village of vendors. They got a campground. It's fun.
It is.
It's fun.
I don't want them to move it because we stay right there about 30 minutes out.
Yeah.
And the Jack Daniel's distillery is just like not even a quarter mile from where we stay at.
It's a neat tour too. It's a very neat tour to see how all that is made and stuff.
So,
but
I do like that aspect of it. Let's see. Let me get back to my page here. Do you guys have, this comes from a texter in the 217. Do you guys have any experience with cool hand Luke string stops?
We do, and they are fabulous.
Yes, they are.
They, I've been putting them on my prime bows, and I don't know what it is. I do kind of know what it is. For some reason, on the primes, the rubber piece is hollow in the middle like a dang drum. Not that it makes the bow extra loud, but when we ordered the first one and put the Cool Hand Luke string stop on it, it was a major difference. I mean, like, we were like, so everybody got one.
Yeah.
And I've had some people tell me they got one for their Bowtech, and a bunch of people for Prime and all this stuff, and so far everybody is in love with them. And how much are they?
$25 a piece, I think.
Look him up. He's all over Facebook and Archery Talk. It is worth getting them.
And he does them in different colors.
Yeah, you can choose a color and tell him what bow you got and all that stuff, and he makes them just for that bow and then whatever color you want. But no joke, they make a difference. I don't know how or why there's so much difference, but they just work. And it's a metal bar, with I think it's a Bojack stopper on it, but check him out.
Yep.
Cool Hand Luke string stops. I think he makes quick disconnects and stuff too, but I think the string stops is what really took off. I seen his quick disconnects, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago on Archery Talk, and had sent him a message, and honestly had meant to order several to put in the shop, because on his quick disconnects he puts a Bojack's dampener around them, and I thought that'd be cool because that's like where the stabilizer is mounted to the bow right there. That would probably work. And I forgot about it. And then when the string stops came about and I ended up with one of them, I was like, this joker's got it figured out.
Yeah, he does.
So yeah, check them out if you're looking just to play around and try another string stop.
Our next question comes in from the 843. Can I still use an older Apple press on my verdicts?
Probably not. So like there's a couple models we could talk about here. The oldest Apple presses were just straight up two like boat rollers, and then two that came down, and what they did was the limbs in older bows were so long it would just press the riser down and flex the limbs. Then in the mid 2005 2006 range they came out with one that did the same thing, but one arm of it has like a bottle jack on it, so that one arm, when you get a little tension on it, will press in. But even with that, I knew somebody that had one up until a couple years ago on the newer bows. He was having trouble getting them to press even with that. Then they made adapters for the Apple press that went up and were actually 2 fingers. Now that probably would work if you got all that mess. And the 2 fingers went above the rubber rollers, and then you bottle jacked it in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it would still be semi-sketchy. I would probably say, the standard now is just get a last chance press, and that works. So
yeah,
a last chance press, and if you're shooting a Hoyt, get the Hoyt fingers, and you're good to go with any bow, So
yeah,
the Easy Green is, I think, around $400. Get it, you're ready to roll. That's one of the ones we got, and we used it for years, with no trouble whatsoever. And then we added the Hoyt finger so we could work on Hoyts, and good to go. The X Press from Surelock still works on, I think, everything.
I think so too.
I've seen some of them for sale cheap, like $300, $250 local, on like Marketplace and Craigslist. So that would be another option. And then there's some portable presses that would work, and the boa constrictor and all that works. But just as far as biggest out there, the last chance is the way to go. And I know there's people that have fabricated, wannabe last chances, and they work just as good too. So just be careful.
Yep. You get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Our next question comes from Bill on Facebook. What's the best stabilizer length for hunting?
It's different for every bow and everybody,
Yeah.
If I don't want a sidebar and I want just a stabilizer, I'm sticking to something short.
6 inch.
Or
8,
less, yeah. I mean, like a 4, a 6, whatever. If I'm going to shoot a sidebar, I might put like a 10er out front and then like an 8 on the side. I've had bows in the past I didn't put a single stabilizer on and it shot just fine. So it's according to what feel you want and how much walking you're going to be doing.
Yeah.
If I'm going to walk my butt off, I'm definitely not going to have a sidebar, and I'm probably not even going to have a front bar. And if I do, it's like a little bitty one.
And I guess, it just depends on your actual setup too.
Yeah. You got a big old honking side out front. You might not want something sticking way out there to give it so much front weight. You might want a sidebar just to give it some back weight. Or vice versa, you got some little tiny side out front and it's wanting to kick back. You might want some weight out front. That's a good thing with today's stabilizers. They're so versatile, and you can add weights, or you can take off weights, or you can put a back bar and add weight to it, or you can slide it in, slide it out. There's just so much stuff.
Yeah.
One of my favorites, I guess 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, I think Stokerized made it to start with, but it was like you still had your regular stabilizer, but it offset it to the side, and you could slide it back. So like, your grip's here, and like some of the stabilizers out front and some is in the back, and you could raise it up and lower it how far out you wanted it and slide it in and out. And I liked it. It was a good one.
I guess if you're just running a single front bar, a 8 or a 6 is going to be fine. I don't think you need to run anything more than that. So personally, I would probably run an 8 inch. I'm tinkering around with some lengths now, so I'm actually running longer length on the front. I think I'm running a 12 or 14 on the front and a 8 or 10 on the back, just tinkering around. That's probably what I won't hunt with. But, I've run a 12-10 before, and, it just depends on where you're hunting too. If you've got a lot of cover, kind of like, I don't like to thin out my tree stands too much.
Yep.
To keep some cover. So, which I never had any problems with that 12 inch on the front. So, but overall, I would say 8 inch easy.
Yeah. It's the bow, you know what I mean? And it's the shooter. Do you like it to be front heavy or not? Just preference. That's why it's cool to walk into a shop and we be like, screw them all on. We don't care, and shoot it down the hallway here. See which one you like. You know? It's not like, well, you gonna buy this one, or you can't open it. That's the cool thing about having a local shop. They'll usually let you fire it off.
Yeah. Our next question comes in from the 854. Is the True Ball Goat a good hinge? Have you guys tested it?
That would be a good T-Bob question, because he's got one.
I actually have this release. I got it last year, kind of late in tournament season. That was my intention. I got the Goat because you can switch it between a thumb button and a back tension or a hinge.
I like it. And let me add this real quick. It works good as both. I mean, I've shot yours, and it's not. I remember when they came out with the HBX, I really wanted it until I shot it. And it was like a hinge that could be fired a bunch of different ways, but it had like a resistance and grittiness to it. This thing's super slick.
And, I don't like, well, I'm not going to say I don't like, but I want to shoot a back tension during tournaments. But I also didn't want to just go straight out full-fledged hinge and keep it 2 weeks or whatever and say, okay, I'm not doing this. At least I can switch it back to a thumb button. So, I had it on the thumb side, and so I recently flipped it over to a hinge, and we've got a bow in the shop that we're testing some string material out on and everything, and so I've been using it. And I know people will probably think I'm weird, but I actually make mine go off on the hinge. You know, I've had guys that shoot them all the time. That's all they shoot's a hinge, and so try to put your elbow in your back pocket, and you know, it just doesn't work for me. So I have to actually rotate into it and make it go off. But as far as being smooth, that joker's smooth, and you know, you got so much adjustment on the true ball. I mean, you can take. I mean, I've got mine set up on the click. You can take the click out, and I think on that one you can buy separate sears and adjust it out. So if you want it hotter or colder on the, you know, on the tension or whatnot, but I mean, it's a jam up release. It's well built, that's for sure.
Yeah, I was impressed. You kept talking about it when you got it, and I shot it some, and I was like, this thing's pretty slick, and it works well both ways.
And it's simple. I mean, you know, it comes, if you order one or get one, it comes set up on the thumb button. But there's one, you don't want to do this in the field unless you just really, really have to, but make sure you do it over somewhere where you can find it, because there's a little Phillips head screw. You just take it out, and it's got a little pin that comes out. And that pin and screw actually store in the handle, back of the handle on the release. And then you just lock your thumb button down, and it's a back tension or a hinge. And then you just repeat the process. You unlock the thumb button screw and lock the sear screw back down. And you slide your pin and put that little Phillips head screw in there and tighten it up, and you're back to a thumb button. So, super sweet release.
Oh, yeah, it's a good one. It is a good one. I just had somebody sent something in and said, what would be a good mid-priced bow package? And I would suggest, I mean, it's according to exactly what you mean by mid-price, because some people's mid-price is $400 and some people's is $700 or $800, but some of this bear stuff is super sharp, packaged out for a good price.
Yeah.
You got the Paradoxes, even like the Cruiser G2, that sort of stuff, and you're between $400 to between $400 and $600. And you know, when somebody comes in, we kind of ask them, you know, like the Cruiser, for example, we've sold more to a lot of teenager type ages, but I mean, an adult could shoot it.
Yeah.
But then we got like the Paradox stuff, you know, that would be a good price point for a adult. And then there's the two of them. I mean, there's a hybrid cam that's a little quicker, and then there's a solo cam that's a little slower. So, and there's only $50 difference in them. So that's kind of what I would recommend. If I forget who just sent that in, but if you're listening, that would be a good one to go with. I mean, PSE's got great stuff in the middle price. Everybody's really got it. I'm just saying, of what I'm sitting here looking at, these bear bows, we've sold it. It blew my mind because we got them in October, November, and man, people just come flocking in buying these $400, $500, $600 packaged out bows, and I was like, good Lord, I guess we should have had some of this type of stuff before now, because I always feel like when somebody comes in and wants a bow, they want to just take bear bow, and then let's go look at, 25 different sites and really pick out the site they want, and really the rest and the stabilizer. But it seems more and more like people are like, that's a heck of a setup, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, crap. I guess it's not, maybe I'm that way because I'm more particular, but I think a lot of people are just kind of like, what do y'all think? I'll take it. So,
And, it's kind of hard if he's wanting a full rig at a mid-range or a mid-range price, or is he wanting a mid-range bow, kind of like at Bear Divergent at $800.
Yeah, hard to say.
And then rig it out that way. So, but
we got a cool video. It actually come out before this, but we've talked about it on the podcast. It'll come out It'll actually be the past Sunday when you hear this, but had a guy stick a Allen wrench in a Bowtech to try to press it, and it blew it up. It came in with strings strangled around it, and cams warped. And anyway, he came in with the new cams and assemblies and all that, and I recorded putting it back together, so it'll be on YouTube to look at. It's interesting.
Yep.
I screwed up a little bit because I started recording it, and then I ran out of time and had to come back. And when I came back, I forgot to initially start recording again because I was thinking I need to get it done in my head. So I missed a few things, but it's still, I think it ended up being about a 20-minute video, so it's kind of neat to watch. We got some ideas of other stuff we might do.
These will be strictly safety type videos.
All right, Mr. Safety Man.
Mr. Safety Man, Mr. Safety Boy.
If y'all watch TK and Mike. We've considered, in our collection back here, we've got a retired bow that we have thought about slow motion, dry firing in a safe way off of some sort of a machine just to see what happens, and knowing we're going to chunk the thing in the trash when it gets done with it. And it's I wouldn't say an older bow, but it's not something, it's a PSC Nova, it's definitely a few years old, but
and the thinking behind this is that was about a 2001 model bow.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are still hunting with that model bow or right around that time frame, and you take a modern bow in the last 3, 4, 5 years and you're probably going to be okay, except warping some cams or bending an axle.
That's according to the bow, yeah.
So we kind of want to see,
It'd just be cool for somebody to come in and be like, I did this, or what would happen if I did this, and we'd be like, check this out, and get a bunch of cameras around it and pull the release from a ways back, but get some slow motion footage of what all flies apart type thing. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's a bow we're not going to do anything with, and it's left-handed and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it would need some TLC to get it back up to speed anyway, so I just think it'd be funny. But we might do that.
I think it'd also be a good safety. This is what could happen if you do this.
Yeah.
Or if not, I'm not going to say if you do this, but if this was to happen.
It'd be neat if we could make like a complete man out of ballistic gel.
Oh, man.
And he'd have like cable slide stuck in his eyeball and stuff after the explosion, and be like, and put him over in the corner and be like, that's what happened to the last guy. But nah, we may or may not do that, but we've talked about it. It would be something different.
Yeah, and
people would probably talk about it, I'm sure.
Yeah, and like I said, it's just something that we was thinking about doing, just say, okay, this what could happen. But we got some shoots coming up.
Yeah, we got at the shop, if you're listening to this as it comes out, be February the 22nd.
Yep,
we're having a shoot, so it'll be the Saturday after this comes out. We're having a shoot 10 to 5, 20 3D targets, all the usual stuff. We'll have it all over Facebook and the website, so come out and shoot. It'll be fun. It's supposed to be good weather. The week after that, end of February, Kiwi Bowman's having another one. We'll be up there.
ASA starts.
Yeah, ASA's next weekend as well on the 22nd that weekend. So it'll be in Foley, Alabama. So there'll be coverage from like Cam, from Competition Archery Media and all that, and Bow Junkie, and it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah.
See what happens.
And then coming up a little later, like we mentioned, we've got the R100 coming up in March, TAC in May. There's a couple other shoots in South Carolina be coming up. I know Sand Dune is like first weekend in April has the 900 round.
Yeah, I think they got one this weekend. I seen somebody post they were headed down there.
I think they got one this weekend too. If you're local or whatnot, the 3Ds right now are pretty much rolling. There's one about every weekend somewhere.
Yeah, and I would imagine, and I might be wrong, if you're not in this area, anywhere in the south, I've seen a lot of them popping up. I'm sure if you're up north, there's still snow and stuff. Maybe there's a lot of indoor stuff going on, but the south is about to start gearing up for 3D and already has, really.
Yeah.
So the ASAs are kicking up. So definitely get your bow. Go check out some 3D shoots in your area. If you're around us, come shoot with us. Even if we're not shooting at the shop, all the time we have people, hey, can we come shoot with y'all? Yep, come on. We'll tell them we're meeting at this club or that club at what time, and we meet up with people and shoot. And sometimes it's their first time, sometimes it's their 200th time. We don't care.
Nah.
We're just there to have fun, as long as they don't mind me I usually video us shooting to throw something on YouTube. As long as they don't freak if I put a GoPro in their face, we're good.
That is the funniest thing.
People lock up, don't they?
They lock up. I mean, I don't know. I guess I just been the test dummy for so many years that it just don't bother me no more.
What I think's funny is people that I know watch them, and we'll run into them, and I'll be holding the GoPro or have whatever on, and they'll see that camera coming, and I mean, it's like, oh God. But I never video anybody that I feel like I'm making them uncomfortable, and if it's somebody we don't know, I'm always like, hey, do you mind? And I usually don't even video people we don't really know, but people, it's funny, they freak.
They do. I mean, I don't know. I really don't. I guess, like I said, I guess me and you've been the test dummies for a few years now. It's just kind of natural to have a GoPro sitting right here in your face when I'm shooting.
I just think those videos. I usually don't get as much views on those videos as other stuff we do, but it's just fun to see.
It is.
The arrows hitting the target and us walking around. And the last one we did, I tried to do a little more commentary instead of just shooting. But I don't know. I think it's neat. I don't do them every week, of course, but I throw a few together here and there, and it's fun. So, yeah, come shoot with us. We'll try to get some footage of the shoot from the shop next weekend.
Yep.
And Friday, don't forget, the 21st of February, 2020, we'll be doing our drawing to see who wins the free set of bowstrings. That'll be fun. And keep putting those numbers in until then.
And don't forget.
What time did we say? 3 o'clock? 3 o'clock that Friday is the cutoff time.
3 o'clock Eastern time, I believe, is what it was.
So put them in by then, and then we're just going to make a list with name and number. And then if we were to not draw somebody's number the first click or two, we'll click it until we hit somebody. And I don't think it'll take but a couple clicks.
No.
But it just you just type in that generator, pick a number between 1 and 150, go, and it picks whatever.
And be sure to comment on podcast number 25.
Yep, last week's. Well,
I
guess we can about wrap it up. It's been 6 months of us doing this every week. Thanks for listening.
We appreciate it.
We've had fun.
Oh, yeah, loads of fun.
It's turned into something we kind of look forward to. We got a few people probably have on here in the next month or two, just random hunting folks and tournament folks and all that, just to have an extra head in the crowd. But other than that, we got a couple people we might line up to do another webcam type thing to where they're not available to come here because they're in another state or something, but we might bring them in. The audio gets a little iffy when we do that through their end, so we'll have to see how that works out again. But anyway, thanks for watching. Always let us know what else you'd like to see. We got our Hotwire site we talked about here. If you were to need one, call us.
Yep.
We got them here. We'll get you one sent out. But
always, if you hadn't subscribed to our channel yet, go on there.
Give it the old thumbs up.
And hit the bell.
And we'll see y'all Friday for the live drawing, hopefully. Let me talk about that real quick. If YouTube will not let me go live, we're just going to quickly record the video in one take, and I'll dump it directly on YouTube right there.
We said we was going to set up a webcam straight off the computer.
That's right. I forgot about that. So if we can't go live from mobile, we'll still go live from
webcam.
Computer. Yeah, so that way we'll be good.
We'll be on YouTube. Live.
Yep, YouTube will be good to go. Anyway, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Take it easy.
Toodles.